What you're referring to is authoritarianism, not collectivism, and those aren't the same thing. And I actually just read a bunch of research on authoritarianism and the demographic makeup and political parties associated with that. I'm Dr. Anna Kalchma. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, and I research the unwritten rules of work for the working class and neurodivergence. One of the unwritten rules of work is that the working class is more interdependent and collectivistic, while the upper middle class is more individualistic, and this can be a culture clash for people from working class backgrounds as they move up. Interdependence does not necessarily mean conforming, though, because a lot of people from working class backgrounds also run into the unwritten rule of compliance, which is refusing to disagree with people, and that is also a barrier for them. Really, this comes down to power. Interdependence, the power is shared equally. People have communal relationships, they share resources with each other. One doesn't necessarily have power over the other. There's reciprocity and mutual support. Authoritarianism is about a hierarchy and unfailing obedience to a leader and authority. That if you do not comply with that leader or authority, you will be kicked out of the group. Not just by the leader, but by the other members of the group. One way to think of this is to think of interdependence as a spider web, everything's connected, and authoritarianism as a pyramid with all the power at the tippy top. An analogy of this would be interdependence would be if there's one community lawnmower and you all take turns using it. Authoritarianism would be one person owns the lawnmower and decides who can use it. And if anybody speaks up in the community about how maybe that's not fair, that one person gets to decide everything, or says the lawnmower's broken, or that they should do something else with it, then they're kicked out of the whole neighborhood. There's a psychologist who's been researching authoritarianism since the 70s, and he wrote this book that's available for free on his website. All of the studies he's done, and it goes deeply into what makes up authoritarianism and which political parties are more susceptible to it in the US and Canada. He's American, but he works in Canada. And he really does seem to be a moderate. He's transparent about what his views are, and this was written in 2008, so it's not about anything current, but it definitely applies. I appreciate his transparency of, while I may not agree with him on everything, I just appreciate that he's like, listen, I'm left-leaning and that I was against the war in Iraq, but I'm right-leaning and that I'm pro-life. And he walks you through all of these studies he's done and the findings and why he thinks this is important. And it's eerie reading it from over a decade ago. I'm not going to tell you which political parties he says are more susceptible to it, because I found that no matter what you say on here, people won't believe you when it comes to a political party unless they find it themselves. So, the book's for free. Why not?